Hi, my name is Roland from PMI JCM Realty Group, where we manage properties from an asset management perspective. I'm also the rental property investment Zen master. Just wrote a book about that topic. I am donating all the funds of the book to charity, so please go out and get that book. You can go ahead and get the book at our at real estate investment zenmaster.com, and you can also find it on Amazon. So today what I'm going to talk to you about are how to set appropriate boundaries with your tenants. Now, a lot of owners sometimes get into friendships with their tenants. Sometimes they let people who they know who they are already friends with rent their properties. And from my experience, a lot of times those type of relationships end up in disaster. Ultimately, what happens is that someone doesn't pay. They expect a lot more grace than the owner is willing to give, and the rent is due ultimately, and the owner really can't afford to support, that additional rent without that additional mortgage payment without, the rents coming in, right? And so this topic that I'm talking about today is really geared towards people who don't know each other, right? And you have a property, you market it for rental, you get a tenant in the property, and subsequent to that, ultimately you need to make sure you set the right set of boundaries so that you have a functioning relationship, a professional relationship, and you don't end up with a situation where the tenant thinks that you are friends or friendly enough that they don't have to pay their rent moving forward. So I'm going to talk about 5 different tips, give you 5 different pointers on how to set those boundaries to make sure that you're able to be successful renting your properties, right? And so the first thing that you want to do is you want to communicate up front, and so you want to make sure they understand your availability up front. If your office hours are 9 to 5, don't respond to any communication from the tenant after that time frame, unless it's an emergency. Of course, if it's an emergency, you need to action some items. Then, of course, you make sure you to get that taken care of, or you hire that out. Most emergencies, they're probably going to need to call 911. If it's a fire or something like that, call 911. Of course, you're going to need to know about it. But the number one job is to get that fire out, save property, save the people who are living in the house. And then after that, as a property manager, you need to come in behind that and make sure that anything that needs to get done to get that property back into rent-ready condition is taken care of. So, and that's beyond the scope of what we're discussing here, right? The point of this whole topic, this whole point is to make sure that you communicate your availability, and make sure that you make them adhere to that availability as well. And the second thing is be transparent about what you will and won't do, right? I think sometimes owners as well as tenants, you get confused about what the SLAs are, or what should or shouldn't be done, or what can and can't be done. Generally speaking, the lease agreement I outlines what the responsibility is for the tenant as well as the responsibility is for the owner. And you need to make sure that you enforce the information in that lease agreement. Make sure that outside of the lease agreement as well, that you're transparent about what you will and won't do. That will definitely help keep that relationship on a professional level, and it will help you have an easier time dealing with that tenant moving forward. Make sure you protect yourself and make sure you protect your assets. Make sure you keep track and you document all your interaction and communication with the tenants. Sometimes tenants can be aggressive, passive aggressive, and sometimes they can be bullish. There are a lot of tenants who feel as if it's their property, right? And it's not. You try to work with them as best you can. You try to be as flexible as you can, but ultimately, make sure you document everything that you do, all your interactions. Make sure you're staying within the tenant laws as well. But if the tenant's not following their end of the agreement, make sure you take the necessary steps to get everything corrected. Be helpful and resourceful, not just friendly, right? I pride myself on being resourceful to my tenants and my owners, and I think as a rental property owner, you should pride yourself in being resourceful to the tenants. And resourcefulness can mean providing, guidance on how to get certain things taken care of at the property. Not every issue that comes up at the property requires a vendor to go out there to do the work. But whenever you can, be resourceful and provide the guidance. And a lot of the guidance can come from the welcome package. And it's definitely a way to help provide the tenant with a better stay at your property. And, the last tip is create a professional layer of separation. Outsourcing the management of the property to a property manager is definitely something that will help you move things along. You'll get that professional distance between you and the tenant, and the property manager will be able to facilitate and help provide guidance and make sure that things get done in a timely and proper manner. Keep these insights in mind and tips as you build relationships and boundaries with the tenants. Let PMI JCM Realty Group be your property management partner. At PMI JCM Realty Group, we're always looking for ways to add value and provide information to our community owners and tenants. We're having a free webinar on how to streamline your rental property portfolio for maximum growth. It is a topic that you don't want to miss. We're not only are we going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about how to guarantee your rent even if the tenant doesn't pay. And we're also going to talk about how to have a deposit-free program where you can get issues taken care of. You can get a lot more money to get issues taken care of as opposed to just worrying or waiting on a security deposit. Also, we have a Facebook group. Please join our Facebook group. You can find the Facebook group within the link of this article. And within that Facebook group, you have investors that's going to be able to help you with any questions that you have about your property management or your properties as a whole. And if you have any questions specific questions for me, you can contact me directly at rcharles@PMI JCM Realty Group. You can also contact me at 813-333-9617. And you can always put a meeting on my calendar with the link here. And you can reach me on my website at pmijcmrealty.com. Thank you. Have a great day.